Hello, I'm Alex, and today we're going to learn how to do a custom visual shader for a health bar in the Godot Engine. The result will look something like this. Perfect. Let's start by opening the Godot Engine. Create a new project. I will name mine health bar tutorial. Create a folder and create and edit it. Perfect. Let's create a root 2D node and drag our sprite into the scene. Very nice. Control S to save. Click on save. Good. Godot will automatically create a sprite for us and import the texture and assign it. Now we go to the material tab and we create a new material, clicking on new shader material. Yes, shader. Now we expand it by clicking on material and we create a new shader for it, a new visual shader for it. Voila. And we can begin to edit the shader by clicking on it. Very simply. You can drag the graph by clicking on the middle mouse button. Let's change the mode to canvas item. Right click in the graph and type in color uni to bring out the color uniform and create it. This will allow us to select the color of the health bar. Let's type in color for the name. Click on the little eye if you want to see the current color it is assigned to. And drag this into color. Let's save the project once more. Press F5. Select current. And we are now shader developers. Bravo. Let's go back to our project and click on the icon in the scene dock. Clicking on the visual shader will allow us to edit it. We can go back here with this on the history and we can edit the shader params under shader param. Quite simple, you choose a color and it will assign it to the shader, and since our shader is just a throughput now, it will assign it to the texture of the sprite. So I'm going to choose this lovely color here. Lovely green, beautiful green, magnificent green. I will choose it. This is mine. Okay, so choose a color for this and let's go back into editing the shader. We can zoom in a little bit with the mouse wheel and we can drag it with the middle mouse. So we center our view. Let's start by adding a new node here. You can zoom out a little bit and we're gonna look for UV. Create it. This is the UV. We're gonna expand it and look for decompose, because we want to vector decompose our UV. It will give us 3 scalar, which are only floats, that represent the UV at different coordinates. We will take the X and we will compare it with command compare to something. So for example, we will compare it if it's A greater or equal B. And we have the result that is shown here. Then we want to compare it to something. So let's add a scalar uni. My bad, scalar uni. Create one. If the nodes get in the way, you can just select them and drag them away. The scalar uniform is going to be our amount. Health. This is the health. It's going to be between 0 and 1. And it's going to allow us to mask the UV to get the progress we need. We can use this for health. We can use this for stamina. We can use this technique for fire rate, any kind of progress, level progress, percentage, loading, any kind of progress. You can use this technique. It's very quick and cheap. It's perfect. Now we want to output this new result directly to our color. Doing that will allow us to modify the health value by clicking on icon and going in the shader params. We can see it's 0. And we can tweak it, and already we have our first effect. Bravo. Wow, so cool. Now to apply the color to this result, all we have to do is create a mix node, and we will choose vector mix, create. We can take our output and put it a little bit on the right. We will take our color and input it into A. We will take the mix and output it into color. The result here will be used in the weight. And just like that, we already have a first result of a health bar. Now to create the background color, it's quite simple. Right click again, look for multiply. We will look for the vector multiply and create it. You can expand it a little bit like this and zoom in I don't know if you can see something on YouTube. And we're gonna want to multiply this vector by some value, maybe 0.5 on 3 axis. And this will just darken the color. This is just the same color, but darker, as you can see. Taking this color and putting it to B will create a nice background that is controllable with only one parameter. So now this color, it could be stamina, it could be mana, it could be percentage loading, it could be health bar, whatever you want, and the value is controlled here. And I mean, we are done. Huh? You can scale it, and it will always scale perfectly. The only trick is to keep the amount between 0 and 1 and use this in script as set shader param. You can use this with an animation player. You can use this with the twin, I guess. It's very easy. The texture could be anything. So that's it for the basic. Bravo. Thank you for watching my tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe, put the notification bell, like it, comment it. Thank you, bye. Go on your visual shader and Control S to save it. And if you want to use it for another sprite or another material, export it out of your project easily by clicking on the little arrow here and clicking on Save. This will save it to a file that you can reuse across multiple sprites or projects. I will call this one Simple Progress. And you've made some progress right there. It's applicable to sprites, but I could easily use it in UI. If I wanted something that I could use in UI, I would select a color rect and create a new material, shader material for my color rect, click on it, drag my progress, go to shader params, set a color, set a value, and this is now usable in UI as a control node that you can of course rescale. Another trick is you can change the orientation of the shader simply by outputting Y instead of X. Of course, if you would like to have two separate shaders, you could save this one as a separate shader, save as simple progress on Y, save, and for example, keep here the simple progress. And just like that, you have two different shaders for controlling progress very easily. Let's go a little bit more in depth and duplicate this color rect with Control D. We have an icon we can use to follow sprites on the world, and we have a control node that we can use in the UI for health bar, sprint bars, level, and such. Let's use this new color rect to do a loading. First, we want to click on the material and make it unique. So it has its own shader params. Now we want to go to the shader and make it unique too, so we can modify it. Let's go to the shader params first and choose a new color. Perfect. This seems great. I love it. Let's go to the visual shader by clicking on it. We can get the X component of our UV, put it in the compare. Let's add another node in our scene. This will be the background of our new loading component. Let's give it a size. Perfect. Let's put our loading progress bar inside this one. We're gonna rename them progress and container. Let's reset our progress layout, clicking up to full rect. Then we go to margin, put down 5, 5, -5, and -5. Enter. We can now change the color of our container to whatever we want to give a little stroke to our UI. We can easily add a child node in our container, a label, same layout, full rect, and loading, and you could type whatever you would like inside this. Align it to the center, and in theme overrides color, font color, you could just pick one of the two colors you have here, for example. The default font is not great, but it's just for the example. So now our progress is contained inside its little thing. And you could change the text by script. This could be an amount of HP. So let's put this one aside. Duplicate it. Bring it down. Go to the progress part. Go to the material. So you don't have to make it unique in the shader for now, just the material to have different shader palms. So for example, this could be the health. Let's delete the label. What if we wanted another color besides this color? It's really simple. So we go in the visual shader. So yes, we did need, oh my, I'm gonna have to redo all this. Go into the visual shader to edit it, and instead of multiplying it, we can just color uni, create a color uniform, plug it here, call it background, and it will be to whatever you set it to here. So you can have two parts now. Yeah. So you can have two parts now. Just perfect. And you can independently change this color as well. So there you have it. Oh, what is this? Delete it. Oh my. Okay, sorry about that. Can run it, and there you have it. One last trick I'm going to show you. We're going to duplicate the icon. So don't forget, the icon has a texture applied to it. We can scale it up like so. So if we go to the material and make this unique so we can work on it without breaking the first one, make this one too. Instead of mixing it with itself and darker, we can right click and search for texture and go down to texture function texture, create it, and select inside the first one texture 2D. So this is just going to be a copy of the texture that is below it. If we add the UV parameter from here inside our texture, we can use it to replace the background by deleting the background and connecting these two. Now if I go back to the shader palms, I can sample, for example, this color. And now the amount will mask it off. Could be useful for any type of effect. You could bring back the alpha of the sprite simply with alpha from the texture 2D to alpha output. And it brings it back even on the overlay. If you can see it, here it is. So you can mask textures, it could be useful. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, notification bell, leave a comment, like it. Okay, bye.